So now that we have the 1911 set up to where we can actually go through and equip it as such, we need to go ahead and continue the logic to attach the weapon to the hand. So here in Unequip complete, when we actually link the anim layer and everything like that, we want to attach the firearm. So to begin, we can just grab our current held actor. We can attach to component, and the component being the pawn mesh. From there, we have the attachment rules. So F attachment transform rules. And we want to snap the target. We can either include scale or not include scale. Doesn't really matter. And then the actual socket name to attach to. So if we search for attach, we have the actor attach socket. So that's that static variable that we made inside of the core module. And that'll actually handle the attaching of the firearm to the hand when the equip is performed. So let's go ahead and rebuild and just make sure everything is okay. So we hit play. There we go. And it is now attached. So now that we have that, we can test the unequip. So what we need to do here is basically just unlink the anim layer. So just like what we're doing here, we are going to copy and paste and change current held actor to unequipping actor. And I'll change the log to unlinking upper body anim layer. Then instead of calling link animation class layers, we're going to call unlink anim class layers. Likewise, where we are doing the attaching here, we are going to want to basically hide the actor, because otherwise we're going to end up with the firearm being, visible. You're going to have the 1911 in your hand plus whatever the new firearm is in your hand visible. So what we want to do here is just hide it. So unequipping actor, we want to set actor hidden in game and set that to true. And because we are going to be unhiding and such in here, we are going to do the same thing, but for the current held actor, and instead of hiding it, we want to unhide it. So we're going to set held actor in game to, actor hidden in game to false. That's pretty much it. So we should be at a point where we can actually go through and test. So let's go ahead and rebuild, go back to our pawn. And what we want to do is we want to create another firearm and add it. So let's just copy and paste. And after we create this firearm, let's go ahead and create another one. And we'll plug it back into the delay. So what we're doing, and actually let's add another delay after set held actor. So delay, we'll do 2 seconds again. And we'll just call set held actor with the actor being the second firearm. So I know this is quite ugly at the moment, but bear with me. So we're going to spawn a 1911, go ahead and equip it. Then we're going to spawn something else. So we need to make another data asset and equip it. Then after 2 seconds, we are going to go ahead and set the held actor to be the 1911. And after 2 more seconds, we are going to set the held actor to the other one we make, which is going to be the BAR. So let's go ahead and make a new data asset to define the BAR. So DA underscore BAR. And we're going to end up moving this. So we're going to change the mesh to be the BAR, hit save. And now we actually need another firearm because as you can see in the temp firearm, we are defining the unequipped montage and upper body layer, which we don't really want to do in here, but again, this is for testing. So let's make a new temp firearm and call it temp BAR. Open that up and we can change the 1911 equip and upper body 1911 to ones for the BAR. So in our case, we're going to copy the montage and the upper body layer of the 1911, go to the BAR, animation, character, and paste them in here, and simply rename 1911 to BAR. And then once that's done, we can open both. And in the anim layer, let's go ahead and just swap the idle and equip animations to the BAR. So BAR equip and BAR idle. Compile, save, and close. Then in the montage, we want to change the 1911 unequip to the BAR unequip. Make sure it looks right. And again, save. So now in our temp BAR class, we can swap that to the BAR unequip and the BAR upper body layer. So we just save that, go back to our pawn, change the 1911 to the BAR, and the temp firearm again to the temp BAR. So this will allow us to spawn the BAR and basically be good to go. So now let's press play and look at it. So we get everything set up for the 1911, and then we unequip and then equip the BAR. So that was a little bit of a blend out. So it's almost a little bit too fast. So if we view the 1911 unequip, we can see the blend scales. So blend in and blend out are at 0.25. For the blend in, it doesn't really matter too much. We can just do something like 0.1. But for the blend out, we can probably just get away with 0 and just kind of see what it looks like. So hopefully that'll look a little bit better and longer, so to speak. So here's the unequip. So that snapped right to it quite quickly. So that almost might be a little bit too fast, so to speak. But anyways, we'll touch on all of this later on. But we at least know things are so far good to go. Okay, so let's see. Actually, I have a hunch as to why it kind of snapped. Let's go to the anim BP. Okay, yep, that's actually why. So it was actually instant, and these blend settings were not taking effect. So let's go ahead and set them back to default and go back to our anim BP. So the reason being, there is no default slot for us to perform the montage. So we need a new slot. So we'll leave it as default, compile, and save, and now we can actually perform the montage. So I completely overlooked that. Now we can hit play, look at it again. So here's the unequip, which as you can see, it started the unequip, but it only got to about here before it changed over. So that there would, I believe, be the blend out. So we'll set the blend time to 0, or the blend out time, sorry, and the blend in time to 0.1. And let's just kind of see the result from here. So here's the unequip, and it actually completed the unequip and started the new equip. Now, as you saw, there was some snapping, and that's due to the change in the anim layer. And this will be resolved when we add the dead blending node and actually go through and configure the blend in and blend out settings, for these layers, so it'll be nice and smooth. But anyhow, let's go ahead, try it as a client. So here's our client, performs the equip, performs the unequip, and that looked fine. And let's just test with 2 of them, because why not? Okay, so we seem to have a problem, and let's check out. Oh, wait, no, I'm not doing it with, okay, I think I know why. So anyways, this is actually a unrelated problem. So SKG player state, line 19. So let's go ahead and do a quick checkout for that. So line 19, right here. So it's the player controller, because the player controller at this point in time is invalid, potentially for remote clients. So we want to check. So if get player controller and get player controller is local controller, then we want to go ahead and, well, set it. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and give it one more try and just see if we can actually get through it and things are actually working. Okay, once we are back in the editor, go ahead and reopen the assets and just give it another try. Okay, so we're both looking at each other. Check the equip, which works, and so does the unequip. So that logic seems to be working as expected. So back in our equipment component, we can go ahead and remove the logs for linking and unlinking and call it a day. So that'll be all for this video. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to be doing in the next one. We're likely going to be kind of finishing this up and cleaning it up, as we want to not have these properties defined in the firearm itself, but rather inside of a data asset. So the intention being we spawn the A firearm class, give it the data asset to construct from, and that's it. We don't have to worry about, really anything else. So with that said, I will see you in the next video. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon in the description below, where you can also gain early access to this entire series.